I greet you in the joy of Christ. Yesterday we were glancing over the whole area of needing silence to reflect. We looked at a little bit about the cacophony of noise, and we spent a little bit of time becoming aware that deep breathing could lock into those areas in our heart that we have blocked because they are too painful to look at, and the promise of Christ to be with us always. And so I want to read a little bit more about the whole idea of silence in this book. To listen is to heal. Okay. Silence. We can help ourselves and our healing by listening to silence. From time to time, we have to turn off the agitated stirring of the hectic world. We have to allow ourselves to rest in silence. It is necessary to retire to our private desert place within ourselves. Our world is talkative, garrulous. Everywhere the noise and excitement distract us from ourselves. We even welcome the noise to avoid meeting ourselves. We cannot forever run away from ourselves. If we do, we will never truly live with reality. To meet ourselves, we need silence, peace, and quiet. And then on the next page, a little bit more. Self, with a capital S, speaks in the gentle whisper of a zephyr. To hear ourselves is necessary. Even though fraught with anxiety, it is in listening to ourselves that we meet reality. It is important that we live with reality. In silence, we meet ourselves, we meet our God, and we end up with healing. So, I should like to share with you that technique that brings us to that inner silence. And that technique is based on breathing. Now, if we look at this balloon and we blow it up, the air comes from the top and it moves right down. And once we reach at the bottom, then this balloon is full of air. And of course, if we let go of it slowly, then again it moves from there out at the top. And this is what the breathing is about. Breathing is a matter of focusing on our breathing. So I'm going to take you through a little bit of an exercise just so that we can not just hear it, but maybe also experience it. And so it is important to put the feet solidly on the ground or on the floor. Then place your hands open onto your lap. Close your eyes. And then become aware of your breathing. Don't change it. Just follow your breath as it enters your body and leaves your body. Now become aware of your breathing. The inward breath is cool and the outward breath warm. Do this a few times. Already there is the beginnings of silence. There's beginnings of stillness. You begin to feel relaxed. Now let's take that breath deeper. We breathe through our nose and we breathe in into our chest. Don't lift the shoulders or expand the chest. Just breathe into the chest, into the abdominal area, into the pelvic area. Hold it for a few minutes. Now slowly breathe it out from the pelvic area into the abdominal area, into the thoracic chest, into the chest area, and out through the nose. And breathe out until all the air is out of your body. Hold it for a little while. Now start breathing in again through your nose, quietly, gently, into your thoracic area. Now into the abdominal area, into the pelvic area, the deepest breath. Hold it for a while. And calmly and gently breathe it out again, following the same way out as it was in, and do this a few times. Now we have reached a stillness, and in that stillness we can meet either the problem we want to resolve, we want to speak to the person we have hurt, we want to understand something that has been niggling at us for quite a while, or maybe the reason is that I just want to meet my Christ. And so with the following breaths, if meeting Christ is your motive, see Christ stand before you. And he says and calls you by name. And he says, Sylvia, I love you. Now with your inward breath, say your name in your mind. Deep breath. Hold that message, I love you. And breathe out, I love you. And do that a few times. Now this kind of breathing can also be used for the sake of the world. We know that Christ's life force, with all God's goodness, with all his gifts of power, strength, love, joy, peace, justice, all of that flows through us. And in this deep stillness, we can then tap into any of those gifts. So we tap into justice. So we breathe in justice. Feel that justice. Hold that justice in your heart. And as you breathe it out, surround those who need to be treated with justice. Then breathe in love. Tap into God's love. Breathe it in. Breathe it. Feel it. Hold it. And then gently breathe it out again. Surrounding whoever needs to be loved, whoever needs to be felt that they are one with the universe. This is a very powerful prayer, because in that breathing, we not only relate to God and I, but as we bring in the world, we do what Christ has asked us to do, love one another. And as we breathe and practice this breathing, this deep breathing on a regular basis, we release the wonder and power of God's love and all his gifts into the world, and we change the atmosphere in the world. Just as the mind is very powerful to destroy or to build, so this prayerful breathing creates new life, because Christ's life is passed through us into the world. And the other amazing thing that happens, that as we breathe, as we focus on stillness and silence and God's ever great love, we reach a stage where we actually enter a space where there's nothing, absolutely nothing. But you sense that you are standing on holy ground. No distractions, no thoughts, no images, just this empty, full space of God's holy presence. And as we gaze upon this presence, upon this peace, upon this loving God, we become what we gaze upon. And so we turn into peace. We turn into love. We become joy. And as we live in our families, this holy presence, this holy experience of breath will affect the family. They will come to understand and know this wondrous gift of the prayer of breath. And so you will also then affect all the others that you meet. You will change. We will change. And we will become more like the God we gaze upon. And so I say, I really and truly wish you a deep experience of this breath prayer that unites us to the universe, that unites us to God, God of the universe, creator of the universe. And we become one of the flow of energy that gives birth to new life, to new ways of seeing, to deep ways of being still. And maybe in a world that becomes more still because you are still and I am still, wars, arguments, murder, violence will give way to oneness of life. And then we can pray again and close again with this particular verse. Wise are those who learn through silence. Learn then to listen well. For beyond the silence and stillness within, you will come to know a profound and dazzling silence. Herein lies the music of the spheres, the harmony of creation. Enter into the holy temple of your soul. Converse with the beloved in sweet communion. Blessings of the great silence be with you as you help to rebuild the heart of the world with your love, with your silence, with your deep stillness. And at this point, I should like to thank Father Keith for giving me this chance to share some thoughts with you in this time of lockdown. I thank you for your presence and for your listening ear. I pray that something that has been said over the last few weeks may have made a difference for you. I have prayed for you, and God and I have walked this journey, praying that this lockdown experience will indeed be an occasion of new life, of birth, and life eternal. And so God bless you. Namaste and Shalom.